What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Snoop, aka Coach Cap, and I'd like to welcome you all to Open Bar. Before we get into it, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Open Bar. Okay, so the question I was asked today was the importance of competition. And I've touched on this topic before in the past, but I want to take it a step further today. I wanted to speak more on the importance of being a good competitor. I think that's very overlooked. So in the past, I've said, competitions are geared to bring the best out of you, but more often than less, it brings the worst sides out of people. A lot of people are nervous. A lot of people don't like being compared to other people. I see a lot of people saying collaboration over competition, and we're not competing because, a lot of people use it as a tool to belittle, to put you down, and etc. And me personally, Snoop, I feel like this is softening our era. Like I came up in the 90s where, it was like, I'm not going to get into that like back and forth of which era was better, but I'm just speaking from my experiences. I feel like this era is very non-confrontational. They want things easier. They don't really work hard for things. And part of that is because they're getting away from competition. And like I was saying, the purpose of competition is always to push you to a limit that you can't reach alone. There's always somebody better than you at whatever you feel you are good at. So with that mindset, you have to seek. Example, when I used to hoop, or even now in my calisthenics journey, you have to seek who's better than you. You have to seek that loss. That loss, the first time I lost in a bar brawl, it opened up the floodgates for me. It made me obsessed with the craft because I don't like losing. It's not to say I'm a sore loser, but I don't like losing. So that feeling that I don't like, my hard work, my dedication, those things propel me in my training so I don't feel this feeling that I don't like losing. So a lot of people, like you said, instead of stepping their game up to avoid that feeling, they rather mask it. They rather, the refs, this. They rather blame circumstance than taking responsibility for themselves. So that's where I get into the topic of being a good competitor, right? So to me, a good competitor, you showing up to a competition. Let's use basketball as an example. Or let's use calisthenics as an example, rather, since that's the platform that I'm pushing. When you go to these competitions, I see, in my experience, I've been in the competition realm of calisthenics for about 10 years now. I've seen people come in with preloaded excuses. Oh, my injury, or the refs, or the weight difference, or what have you. And I don't want to take away the validity of this because these are valid excuses if we really want to be black and white. But a true competitor does not care. They do not care. So if I'm going against somebody better, it's me gauging myself to a level that I would like to achieve. And vice versa. If I'm going against somebody, quote unquote, weaker than me, I am their measuring tool. If you understand what I'm saying. Pause that for the no Diddy guys in the comments. So being a good competitor starts with knowing you're not better than anyone, because there's always somebody better than you, no matter how good you think you are, right? So also, it's understanding the power of the mind, because that's what I really want to attack with this podcast, is really tapping into people's mentals, because the body only does what the mind tells it to do. So being a good competitor means you're going in you're going into all these situations attempting to learn, attempting to test yourself, attempting to grow in your craft, not just show off, not just, that's part of it. You know what I'm saying? I don't take away hard work from anyone. That's always a part of it. But, you know, you go into it trying to become a stronger version of yourself and seeking the loss. The wise man seeks the loss because that the loss gives the lesson. So, you know, getting back on track, being a good competitor to me, one of my biggest pet peeves in competitions is referees, right? I'm not going to sit there and say we don't have referees that are biased or etc. But I've never seen a referee reverse a call mid-game or mid-match or whatever it is. So when I see people get into these long-winded arguments or debates or like conversations with refs, it's like, do you think he's going to be like, you know what, you're right, let's reverse the call that I just made? No, it's not. And I know some people that will not compete because like, oh, I don't like how people ref, so I'm not competing no more. So now, you know, like I said, when we have organization, when we have hierarchy, you know, obviously some comps are newer, some have more experience, etc. When you have these things in place and you let that deter you, like, I'm not going to compete no more because the one time I competed, I got cheated, or the referee, or this, that, and the third. You're taking away the bigger picture. Like I said, you still get that gauge. You still get to say, you know, I went out there and I did my all. So let me either dial this back, let me increase here, let me increase there. You're letting this one person deter you from your craft. And like I said, I'm being honest, in my 10 years in the game, the guys with the good competitor mindset have lasted longer. They, like I said, when you kind of go into this like, oh, I want to do, because there's comps for everybody. We have beginner comps, we have intermediate, we have expert, we have comps for everyone. We have dead stop, we have reps, we have freestyle. So find your cup of tea. You get what I'm saying? Like you have to search these things. You have to do your research. You have to go out there. You have to look around. Stop looking for an excuse. Because when you look for the excuse, you're taking away from yourself. You get what I mean? Try something. I say it all the time. Like, you try something. If it is not for you, just like, all right, this ain't my cup of tea. But y'all clearly enjoy this. Let me move on to the next. So, like I said, when it comes to competition, man, I'm really hoping people, you know, have the right mindset, because I want to see people grow. I want to see people get stronger mentally and physically. And, you know, these competitions are growing as well. But the attitude of the competitors has to change. It has to adapt. It has to, you know, because as an event host as well, because I host events, the attitude of the competitors really puts me in a mode of, I need to make this bigger and better. Being honest, if I'm hosting a comps and everybody wants to bitch and complain and moan and get their way, it deters from the organization. It makes the organization feel like, yo, these athletes are ungrateful. These athletes don't deserve me doing this or putting this on or etc. So that's why I do feel, you know, having these conversations are vital, because these are conversations that are had behind closed doors, and they need to be more public. They need to be more awareness on this topic. I really hope the mindset or the conversations start to be had. And that's the purpose of me bringing this podcast back. Hopefully this conversation really kickstarts the movement, because that's what it's all about. It's all about us growing. These hard conversations have to be had for us to grow. The competition scene is growing. I love where it's going, and this will help it grow even further. So once again, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe.